As soon as the first coronavirus vaccine was approved, the debate began on who should be first in line for the shot. Well, now the debate seems to be shifting. Should you be guaranteed 2 shots, or is it better to give everybody 1 shot first?
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne tonight takes a 360 look at the facts and the opinions.
The vaccine's arrival in Colorado last month rightly celebrated, but the rollout here and in other states, chaotic, messy, and frustrating, especially for higher-risk Coloradans trying to get the vaccine.
So there seems to be quite a bit of confusion out there in terms of the availability and the timing.
As the state continues to iron out those issues, some have suggested we can achieve greater immunity by, quote, spreading out the vaccine. For example, instead of giving 2 doses 3 to 4 weeks apart, as recommended, perhaps waiting as many as 12 weeks to give the second dose to lower risk individuals like those 18 to 55 years old, or even half doses to those individuals. We're going 360, taking those questions to experts here in Colorado.
The ideas are very intriguing to potentially get more vaccine out to more people more quickly.
And that is what has been proposed in the United Kingdom.
Scientifically rigorous review.
Let's start there. Yes, the UK, for example, is now suggesting a second dose at the end of 12 weeks. But Dr. Thomas Campbell, Chief Clinical Research Officer for UC Health, explains that's the AstraZeneca vaccine, different from what's approved in the U.S.
It might work, but we don't know with Pfizer and Moderna whether it works.
As he explains, 2-dose and even 3-dose vaccines are very common. The hepatitis B vaccine, for example, is given 3 times, day 0, 1 month, and 6 months.
The body's immune system tends to respond much better the second time than the first time, and it develops higher antibody levels.
There is a 1-dose COVID vaccine being developed right now by Johnson & Johnson.
It's expected that the data from their phase 3 trial will become available later this month.
Clearly, that's preferable. But the downside is it's taking much longer for that vaccine to be developed. Whereas the mRNA technology is available quicker, it's available now.
Dr. James Knight is the head of infection control at the Medical Center of Aurora. He says it's simply too early to know if spreading out the doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines would reduce their effectiveness.
If you try to extrapolate the data from the Pfizer study and the Moderna study, there is suggestion that a single dose will have some lasting immunity. However, we just don't know.
Dr. Knight says changing course too soon or too often could erode public trust in the vaccine and the system.
There are already a lot of well thought through models to suggest that this is a potentially good idea. That, to me, is the biggest risk of changing tack too quickly.
Dr. Campbell agrees, especially given the limited data available about waiting for longer intervals between doses.
Being we're in the middle of a raging pandemic, as you expand that time interval between the two, there's more of a chance for someone to be exposed and get infected while not having complete high-level immunity.
So the debate continues, which both of these doctors believe is healthy.
Nobody's entrenched on one set pattern for the future.
It could well be that the approach that we're using now will be modified.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
And we want to hear from you. What is your take on this vaccine rollout plan? Email us 360@thedenverchannel.com.
There's a lot of information to process right now about the vaccine, we know, and we've got answers to some of your most pressing questions. So head over right now to thedenverchannel.com/vaccines for the details.